I believe in God, heaven, and also angels. That also makes me believe that demons exist, and so do bad spirits. The story I'm about to share with you is from my personal experience, my family's, friends, and people I know or got acquainted with. Let us begin. Grandpa came back. This happened way back in my home country, the Philippines, dated March 1995. My grandfather passed away one morning at the age of 88, and it brought great sadness to all of us. With heavy hearts, my parents began the process of preparing his wake at a chapel in the city. On the second day of his death, things started getting busy. So my mom decided it would be a great idea to get a helping hand. They hired a maid. We have 3 rooms in the house. One for my brother and myself, and the other for my parents and my little sister, and the other one for Grandpa. Unfortunately for our new helper, we had to give Grandpa's room, but they did not tell her that it used to be Grandpa's. On her first night, she already informed my parents that it felt weird being there in the room, but just basically brushed it off. The next day, my mom was surprised because it was already 8 a.m., but she is still not up. So they knocked at the door. They knocked and knocked until about 5 minutes of knocking. She ran fast to open it, hugged my mom while crying. My mom took her to the table and asked her what happened. She said, I saw an old man beside my bed just sitting and looking at me. His eyes empty, and he had a big bump on the back of his neck. Me, being a curious little kid that time, ran to take a picture of Grandpa, then showed it to her. She looked at it, horrified, and started crying loudly again. That's him. Grandpa came back again. This happened just a day after our helper saw Grandpa. But this time, it happened to my mom. We obviously did not leave our helper alone in the house after what she saw. She just accompanied us to the chapel because we were going to stay there for the night. However, at around 7:30 that evening, my mom decided that she would need to go home because the weather is not very nice and the laundry hung outside the house would get wet. When she came home, the monoblock chair where my grandpa used to always sit is at the terrace. She passed by it uneasy, but anyway, did not mind it. She came back, took the chair inside the house, and went taking the hung laundry outside. When she opened the door to enter, she saw Grandpa sitting on his chair, calling out her name and reaching out to her. My mom got so spooked, she just basically passed by him, entered their room, and left all the doors and windows open that night. My analysis of what happened back then is that it was not my grandpa, because Grandpa was not with us anymore that time. It was something else, something sinister and evil. I don't know what it wanted, but surely enough, it was up to no good. What's wrong, Coco? This happened to my sister, her little daughter, and our dog Coco. One night, she got up because of the unusual actions of our dog, scratching on the door, wanting to get in, which, according to her, by the way, never ever happened before. He just so badly wants to get inside. This is how she told me the story went. I did not let him enter. I put a chair in front of the door to the room so he cannot scratch it. But somehow, he still finds a way to scratch at the door until I decided to go out.
Now, I thought of getting another chair to put as an extra block on the door, but when I came back, my daughter is already on the edge of the bed, asleep the same way before I went out. The only weird thing is, it did not even take 1 minute to get the second chair outside the room. How could she have reached the edge of the bed from the wall side, asleep, almost falling? Because of that, I decided to let Coco inside the room. The first thing that he did was peek at my daughter on the bed and lay down beside her, watching out for her, making sure that nothing will happen. What did Coco see? Or sense that time? I don't really know. That was the time when our mom just passed away and my daughter was just about 4 months old.